release of the draft George Washington National Forest Plan caused concern among many since the plan had a ban on horizontal drilling. I think that is questionable whether there are any recoverable resources in the George Washington National Forest, but there's a lot of concern about the precedent that this would set for other forest plans in other parts of the country. There are lots of national forests that have extraction of natural gas and oil as a part of the multiple use purpose of our forests. And I'm very concerned about the precedent that might be set there. And horizontal drilling is actually a very environmentally sound way to extract resources because it involves drilling fewer wells and then using lateral drilling efforts to extract from a broad geographic area with minimal impact on the surface. And there are environmental issues with regard to that, but they are addressed well in many places, and I just want to get some assurance from you that the Forest Service will look for other ways to ensure the environmental soundness of these efforts than a simply blanket ban on horizontal drilling in one of our forests.
Yeah, what you see in the draft plan reflects what the forest has heard from the communities. And I think it's driven by, a concern sometimes of the unknown about horizontal, drilling along with the fracking that's now becoming we're seeing more and more of that. But you're right, we've been doing this type of oil and gas operations in this country for decades, and we know the industry knows how to do it correctly. I think there is some opportunity to provide some reassurances to the public along the lines of the rule that the BLM is proposing that would require, for the proponents or the oil and gas companies to disclose what chemicals they're using to ensure that flow back off of these wells is contained either into a pond or some type of a container so it doesn't pollute surface waters, to ensure that the well casings are designed correctly and implemented correctly. I think some of those reassurances, those are the sort of things I think that will help our communities understand that this type of operation can be done in a way that's environmentally sound. And I think that's the thing that we want to continue to work on, is to really address what is the concern behind when we hear folks say, well, we don't want you to allow any horizontal drilling. For us to really think about, okay, what is the real concern? And then is there a way that we can address that concern so that they feel better?
Well, thank you. I'm glad to hear that. I agree with that there are legitimate environmental concerns, and you need to have a good regulatory process. Disclosure of the chemicals used in the process are certainly good, but a blanket ban on a technology that's good and actually used correctly is environmentally very sound is a mistake, and I would hope that the future plans would reflect something that would be compatible with all the different forest plans and the need to have this multiple use in our forests where it's appropriate. And as I say, so far it hasn't been done in the George Washington National Forest, but I don't think we should set a precedent here that would create a difficult situation across the country. And Mr. Chairman, thank you very much for your allowing me to participate today.
My pleasure. Thank you. Chief, I just want to follow up Mr. Goodlatte's line of questioning and then just bridge that to one final question. Obviously, we know what the sound science is in terms of oil and gas production, horizontal drilling, hydrofracking. Certainly if you run into those folks who are just not confident because they don't know, this is new to them, invite them to the Allegheny National Forest. Okay. It was an oil and gas, it was not just timber rich, and we have some of the best timber. We're real proud of the timber that's there. That's why we need good management. We don't want to lose that hardwood cherry to something else. It's one of the most, I understand, despite its size, it's one of the most profitable forests for the Forest Service in the country.
Yes, it is.
But it was an oil and gas field as well, those that exist concurrently, as well as all other multiple uses. And so I want to help make your job easier. So if you get those doubters, they want to come visit the Allegheny National Forest, I'll be glad to join them in the forest. We can. Anytime I can get the time to spend in the A&F is a good day for me. So I just extend that as a resource for you, because it's not a matter of or possibly can be done. It's let's not talk about it in terms of speculation, because we've been doing it for decades in the Allegheny National Forest, and you can't find a more beautiful place to. I'm a little biased, obviously, to visit and to spend time.